Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Dear students, in this lesson we are going to talk about study skills. After this lesson you will be able to identify important study skills required for studying in university. You will be able to identify and use a wide range of learning and studying strategies. You will reflect on your current academic skills and can chalk out an action plan for improvement. And this lesson will help you to improve your academic reading skills. As you are studying at university, so you need to change your learning styles and patterns. You have to make certain changes. You have to know about certain things. As you have shifted from the school or college level to the university level. Some of you have studied at higher secondary schools and some of you have studied at college level. In both cases you have in fact passed board exams, but now you are going to study at university level, and there you have to pass university exams, and now you have to change your strategies, your learning styles and patterns. You have to adjust yourself according to the new patterns of teaching and assessment. And in fact, while studying at university you have to work under time pressures and develop your critical thinking skills. You need to discuss and debate your ideas with peers and tutors in groups. While studying at university, you have to be independent researcher and learner. So who is an independent learner? Independent learner is the one who manages time, stress and other commitments, and he reflects critically on how and what he learns, and he uses a wide range of learning opportunities, resources, and using appropriate printed and electronic resources. He is able to adapt the learning process to make use of new opportunities. He is an independent learner. So as in the previous slide, I've told you that you have to be independent researcher and learner when you have to study at the university level, and here I have mentioned that who is an independent learner. So look at yourself where you are as a learner, how independent you think you are as a learner, how keen you are to become a learner. So before a class, workshop, study session, do you work to get clarity about what you hope to learn? Do you plan how and when you are going to learn something? So look at yourself, so you'll come to know that where you are. So you as a learner, if you come across new study methods, you try them. Do you question what you are told, for example by tutors, by books, in books? What do you think about your past learning experience? So let's find what type of learner are you. You have to look at yourself, and you have to look at the previous slides also, that whatever you have learned, whatever you have experienced. So you have to introduce yourself as a learner, and you have to note down that where you are standing. Do you apply these things? Do you manage time, stress and other commitments? Do you reflect critically? Do you use wide range of learning opportunities? Do you adapt the learning process? So when you have come to know about yourself as a learner, then you have to know about some important study skills which need to be adopted while learning at university level. These are some of the important study skills: time management, information skills, listening to lectures and taking notes, academic reading skills, academic writing skills, referencing and avoiding plagiarism, presentation skills, working in groups, and exam skills. So time management is very important in life. How do you manage the time in your daily routine, and especially in your academic life? How do you manage the time? This is very important in the life of a student. Look here, while managing the time, you have to mark the things which are urgent and which is not urgent. So those which are urgent and important, you have to do them at the earliest, and which are not important, you have to delegate them. So you have to make a chart in order of preference, urgent and not urgent. And there are activities which are not important. So there are two type of activities. One are urgent and others are not urgent. And in the matter of urgency, there are certain activities which are important and which are not important. So which are important and urgent, you have to complete them as early as possible, like deadline driven projects. And which are not urgent, recreation, relationship building, so you can delegate them for the later time. And there are certain activities which you find that which are urgent but not important, like some phone calls, some mail, some meetings, some popular activities. So delay it for the later time, because these are not important in your life. And there are some activities which are some phone calls, some time wasters. Delete them, simply delete them, because they are not needed. They are in fact time wasters. So let's listen to your exam and time management stories. In this slide, I've told you about time management stories, and you have to tell your time management stories. You know that everybody has his own time management story. Sometime you prepare the exam well, attempt the question well, because you have managed the time properly. And sometimes it happens that you could not meet the both ends. Neither you could study the complete course, nor you could attempt all the questions. In fact, these are time mismanagement stories. So another strategy is related to listening to lectures and taking notes. You have to be quite active while listening to the lectures and making the points to take notes. So before the lecture, you know the title and topic of the lecture, skim the required chapters and notes, reflect on what you already know about the topic. Be prepared to ask questions. You know that when you are when you are going to listen the lecture, so before that, when you will go well prepared, ultimately you will understand better than other people. So you should skim the chapters. So sometimes there are some questions that come in your mind while skimming, so ultimately you can ask to your teacher. But if you do not go well prepared, so ultimately you won't be asking questions, rather you'll just be listening. So go well prepared. And during the lecture, you have to concentrate. How? Avoid talking to your peers, avoid side through trips, switch off your mobile phone, go get good night's sleep, and take notes. During lecture, you should do these things. You have to make sure that you have got a good night's sleep, and once you went in the class with good night's sleep, ultimately you'll be quite active. So keep one thing in mind, that you have switched off your cell phone, so that, or any other electronic device, so that it could not create disturbance, not only for you but for your other class fellows. So taking notes is very important, that while lectures While listening to the lectures, you have to take notes. This is an important academic task, and it will help you to remember what you have learned, and it will help you to review materials for reuse in revision and assignments. Take notes according to the week, topic, or assignment. Write in short phrases rather than in complete sentences. So it is important that you are critical when note taking, and that you only write or draw what you will need later on. Do not write irrelevant things. Just make your points while you are listening to the lecture. So after the lecture, review your notes, summarize them, discuss important points, and add further explanations based on your readings. Now we are going to talk about academic reading skills. Academic reading skills will need you to identify your arguments, recognize whether the writings support or oppose the main premise, identify the evidence, identify conclusions, whether the evidence supports the conclusion. So you have to be a critical thinker. If you don't have academic reading skills, ultimately you are not going to be a good reader. Look here. While selecting the right reading techniques, you have to keep these things in mind. That reading, to create an overview, you have to take a quick view of the text. Just you have to scan, because you have to discuss the text generally, and when you are going to study it thoroughly, then you have to skim. So you have to in this case, you have to get complete idea in the given text. So in normal reading, you read the entire text to understand the meaning of the text, so to form a whole and comprehend the message. And then there is intensive reading and extensive reading that will be discussed in another lecture. You just need to keep the things in your mind, that how you have to adopt yourself. So there are some important reading skills. SQ3R: survey, question, read, recall, and review. So these are the 4 important reading skills that you need to adopt while reading. I mean to say that while surveying, you need to review the text to gain initial meaning from the headings, bolded text, and charts. Question means that you have to generate questions about their reading from previewing it. So as you read, you need to the third one is read. As you read, you need to look for answers to the questions if formulated during the preview of the text. These questions, based on structure of the text, help focus your reading. Then recite, recall, or recite. So as you move through the text, you should recall, rehearse the answers to their questions, and make notes about the answers for later studying. And then is review, that after reading the text, you should review the text to answer lingering questions and recall the questions they previously answers. So this is the way, these are the skills that you need to develop while reading. Making notes from reading. Once you are started reading, so now you have to make notes. You use margins of the printed text to write brief comments. You can write on your book also. You can write it at its margins. You can use separate pages. Do not copy chunks from the text. Take notes in your own words. Use color codes. File and organize your notes properly. You can write the notes on your book also. This is the way that can be adopted. But once again, that if you think that this thing is very important and need to be kept in mind, then you can use colors. You can color codes. You can mark them so that while reviewing your book, you can easily judge that this was marked as important and this was marked as relevant. Then comes academic writing skills. This is the ability to write clearly and logical assignments or reports. So there are different genres in academic writing skill, right? Academic essays, research papers, research reports, case studies, research proposals, book reviews, literature reviews, reflected writing, and annotated biographies. So your academic writing should be analytic, objective, intellectual, and rational. Analytic means that you should focus on real facts and details. Objective means that your facts should be seen or can be measured. Intellectual means that your facts are based on enlightened judgments of complex ideas. And rational means that you have provided that you are using clear thinking to make decisions and judgments. So once you are making your assignments, projects, always remember referencing and avoiding plagiarism. So this means you have to acknowledge the source of information you have used in your writing. So while referencing your work, give your work academic credibility. So when you've referenced your work, it means that your work is academically credible. So it will demonstrate that how your work links into your subject area, and it will prevent accusation of stealing or other people's ideas or words, that is plagiarism. So how to give references? There are two different ways that you need to reference other people's work. If you quote another author word for word, then you can do like this. This example is that you have quoted the author. That first you have to write the name of the author. David McConnell suggests that students in cooperative environments. Then you have to write the year and with comma and then page number. So date only because the author's name is already clearly given, and page number because it is direct quotation. And if it is indirect quotation, then you can just write the year. And in case of indirect quotation, you have to paraphrase it. It means that you have used your own words. Then is presentation skills. These are very important, as frequently used in workplace as a means of disseminating information and influencing people. So some of the assessments for your program of study may involve giving a presentation. So whenever you are going to give a presentation, you have to go well prepared. You have to be well dressed. You have to keep all the questions in your mind so you can rehearse before the presentation. And we'll be having a discussion in the last lecture of the semester where they will be talking about presentation skills. So I would urge you to work in groups, because team working is very important in learning essential skills, and this will enhance your communication, negotiation, and will enable you to give your full participation and enhance your habit of compromise, and it will also develop your decision making skills, and ultimately you will learn the teamwork. So do not avoid working in groups, rather try to work in working groups and be a useful part of the group. So while working in groups, you should try to manage conflicts, like establish a joint level of ambition, agree on time spent, keep appointments, concentrate on academic matters, communicate in a proper and polite manner, make ongoing evaluations. When you are going to work in groups, sometimes it happens that the group loses its interest. Rather, people start concentrating on non-academic matters. So you should establish some rules and try to follow those rules, and ultimately you will concentrate on academic matters. So at last we are going to talk about examination skills. In fact, exam tests your knowledge and understanding in an environment with the time constraints. So your memory is not merely tested, rather your understanding is tested, that how you have learned theory and concept. So your generic skills are evaluated, such as time management also, and your effectiveness under pressure. Remember that this is also tested. Have you answered all the questions you need to in the given time period? Not only your written text is tested, rather your time management skills and your effectiveness under pressure is also tested. So this is all about study skills. If you have any question, you can ask me, and in the end I can say that intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. So if there is any question, you can ask.